This is a nice addition to the Jared Anderson, Andre Rudenko card happening on Saturday, August 26 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Bakhodir Jalolov will make his top-rank debut on the card against TBA because in addition, it hasn't yet put it here on BoxRec, but in addition to Anderson Rudenko, Jalolov making his top-rank debut, you've also got Efe Ajagba versus Zan Kosabutsky. Now, there was quite a big response to this fight when I made a video about it the other day. There were people in the comments saying that I've got it twisted. This isn't a thing where TopRank want Efe Ajagba to win. This is a thing where Efe Ajagba is the sacrificial lamb for Zan Kosabutsky. And they are fully expecting Kosabutsky to win the fight. And depending on how impressive he looks, they may decide to then match him against Jared Anderson or not. You know, the inference being if he looks too impressive, they'll keep Anderson away from him. I'm not aware of Kosabutsky having any kind of deal with TopRank. Maybe I'm wrong. And therefore, why would they be looking to do Zan Kosabutsky any favors and feed him one of their fighters? Maybe one of you guys can tell me that Kosabutsky does have a deal with TopRank. I don't know. But either way, there are quite a lot of my subscribers who rate Kosabutsky very highly. They say that he's the best inside fighter in boxing. They're comparing him to, I think Golovkin, a heavyweight version, Beterbiev, and all this type of stuff. I'm not here to argue with you guys. At the end of the day, he is unbeaten, 19-0, 18 KOs. I've had a look at a couple of his fights. He looked decent. I didn't see anything spectacular, but sometimes there are abilities that fighters have that you don't really understand until you're in the ring with them. You know? So maybe Kosabutsky's one of those guys. But as I say, a lot of people are talking very highly of him. I like this fight between him and Efe Ajagba. And also, another thing that one of you guys got onto me about, I said that Ajagba's best win was probably Stefan Shaw or Jonathan Rice. And you guys said, no, it's not that. It is Demirezen, this guy here, who Ajagba beat on points when he was, when Demirezen, that is, was 11-0. Isn't Demirezen the guy who beat Kaunaki? Yeah, he is. He's the guy who beat Kaunaki. So they're saying that that is actually Ajagba's best win. He took Demirezen's unbeaten record. All right, fair point. I'll take that one on the chin. He also beat Yago Kaladze. He beat Jonathan Rice. And last time out beat Stefan Shaw. So there's some people among my subscribers giving Ajagba a lot of credit, saying he deserves more credit because look at all the unbeatens that he's taken on. You know, he took on Frank Sanchez, obviously lost that fight. Took on Stefan Shaw, an unbeaten. Took on, again, Demirezen. And he's taken on another unbeaten in Zan Kosabutsky. If this fight does actually land, it was reported by Boxing Scene that it will. If it does actually land on the Anderson Rudenko card. Presumably, they're still trying to sort out the visa for Zan Kosabutsky. And that's why they haven't yet put it on BoxRec. If they get that visa sorted out, hopefully they do. It's a great fight. You know, I'm very interested to see what happens in that one. One thing I'll say based upon watching Kosabutsky, and I will come back to Jalolov in just a second. One thing I'll say based upon what I've seen of Kosabutsky is, at least in recent fights, he's very front foot heavy. He likes to stand in the pocket. He blocks most punches rather than slipping. He does slip occasionally and move his head occasionally, but for the most part, he'll block punches rather than using his feet to get away or slipping the punches. And I just question how wise that is against somebody who hits as hard as Efe Ajagba. If you're just going to stand there and try and block all the punches. Because Ajagba has got a tremendous right hand. I mean, one of the best right hands in the heavyweight division. I don't want to say it's the best, but it's definitely one of the best. Do you really want to be trying to block those shots? Because a guy who hits that hard can get through the gaps. He can actually hurt you without landing clean. He might hit your glove and hurt you if he gets, you know, good purchase on the punch. So, yeah, that's one thing I'll say about that. Maybe, and certainly many of my subscribers will feel this way, Kosabutsky hits just as hard or he's just as formidable. And Ajagba also likes to block punches rather than slip. I mean, his back is as stiff as a board, Efe Ajagba. He doesn't move his upper body hardly at all. So what happens if they're standing in the pocket and they're letting shots go? Who gets the better of it? Will it be Kossobutskiy? Again, many of you guys say that Kossobutskiy is the best in-fighter in the heavyweight division. It's a bold claim, but that's what people are saying. Will it be him getting the better of it? Or will it be a Jagba with that big right hand getting the better of it? I can't wait to find out. Anyway, moving back to Bakhodir Jalolov. He is 12-0 as a professional, 12 KOs, Olympic gold medalist, 29 years of age, from Uzbekistan, southpaw, 6'7", 81-inch reach, based in Brooklyn, New York. He's been based in New York for quite some time now, as are many other Uzbek fighters. Now, I made a video about him signing to TopRank a few weeks ago, and I'll repeat what I said, some of what I said here. He might have the best single punch, the hardest single punch in the heavyweight division, other than Deontay Wilder. Bakhodir Jalolov's left hand is crazy. I've seen him put people all the way to sleep with that left hand on many occasions in the amateurs and in the pros. If you want to see an example of what I'm talking about, go and watch the first fight between Jalolov and Torres. I always forget his first name, but the unbeaten American heavyweight Torres, right? Jalolov fought him in the Olympics, but he fought him previously in the World Championships. And it's their fight in the World Championships where Jalolov lands that big left hand and Torres goes to sleep for a long time. They were very concerned for him because of how bad that knockout was. And Jalolov did that in one of his more recent fights against this guy here, Jack Mulawai. That was a guy who, I'm not sure if Jalolov fought him in the amateurs, but there was some type of amateur backstory that I remember the commentators talking about in that fight. So, yeah, Jack Mulawai, that was a devastating knockout by Jalolov. He's obviously got rid of Curtis Harper last time out in 4 rounds. Prior to that, he stopped Kamil Sokolovsky. Just to give you some type of idea of what Jalolov's all about, Sokolovsky is a guy who tends to go the distance with most of these prospects. He has been stopped earlier on in his career, but in recent years, Sokolovsky hasn't been getting stopped. But Jalolov did stop him, just to put it in perspective. In fact, let's have a look at Sokolovsky briefly here. So his last 2 defeats, he is a journeyman, were on points. All right, these 2 guys, Fraser Clark being one of them. Jalolov stopped him, but he went the distance with Wallin. He went the distance with this guy here. Is that the guy that Martin Bakhodir just beat? I think it is. Shevardusky. Went the distance with him, actually beat Don Charles' son, George Fox. Went the distance with Solomon Dakers, distance with Adelaide. He goes the distance with everybody these days. Interestingly, didn't realize this, he was stopped by Zhan Kossobutskiy, but that was in the 10th round, all right? He was down in the 5th and then stopped in the 10th. But again, most people he's going to go the distance with. But with Jalolov, he got stopped, and it wasn't in no 10th round. He got stopped in the 5th round. So Jalolov is a tremendous puncher, and he's very technically good as well. This is not a guy like Deontay whose legs are all over the place and balance is all over the place, but he manages to pull it all together for his Sunday punch, that right hand. No, Jalolov is very polished. He's got great feet. He moves well. He's got good balance. His body positioning is good. His punch variety is good. He's got that left hand. He's not a great inside fighter. There are weak elements of his game, but overall, particularly for a fighter of these dimensions, 6'7", he's got most of what it takes to reach the very top. It's only really his chin and his heart that have question marks over them. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have a chin and doesn't have a heart necessarily. I'm saying those are questions that need to be answered by every prospect and every contender as they move up through the rankings. And they're going to be asked of him as well. So that's my take on Jalolov. Be very interested to see who they match him with on this card on Saturday, August 26th. Hopefully it's somebody who we can at least get a gauge off. If he's fought the likes of Kamil Sokolovsky, he's fought him before, that gave us a gauge, right? We could look at his performance against him and compare it to other people. Hopefully we get an opponent that we can also do that with here for his next fight, so we can see where he's at, how quickly he can be moved. I mean, I think Jalolov could be moved more quickly than Jared Anderson, for example. I think Jalolov is going to be ready for a title shot much more soon than Anderson. And I said this in a couple videos previously. To me, of all the heavyweights under the age of 30, Jalolov is the most ready for a title shot now. I'm not saying he's absolutely ready now. I'm saying he'll be ready before all the other guys under 30 in the heavyweight division, in my opinion, in my estimation. So, yeah, I'll leave it there. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast, where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.